Now, I don't know about yourselves, but I'm an avid watcher of the History Channel. And this particular time on the 1st of July, I was watching a programme called Ancient Aliens Unexplained Structures, that's right. So during the film, the camera was sort of pointing at some stones in a place called Carnak in France, which I'd never heard of before. Now, when I was focusing on one particular rock, the camera moved into another area, so it wasn't on for more than a couple of seconds, this particular picture of the rock. But while it was there, while it was pictured on the rock, another image came onto the rock, which quite amazed me. So I stopped my recording right away and played it back, and I ran it again, and yes, indeed, a whole picture came along, an image of a man, which I'm going to show you in a second. I just think it's so unusual. It was so unusual that I had to I ran upstairs, got my little digital camera, which I'll show you in a minute, and photographed it, and even then I couldn't believe it. I couldn't sleep all night looking at these two pictures, which are totally incredible. Having bored you enough now, I'm going to show you this picture. So the first picture is of the rock itself in Karnak. It's just an ordinary rock, isn't it? Nothing different on it. I've scrutinised it completely. It's just an ordinary rock, all right? And then from the left-hand side, the image appeared of this Neanderthal man, in my opinion. And it's very unusual. I got my magnifying glass out and I had a really good look at it. And what amazes me is that he's got, in his left hand, you can actually see his hands. You can see his hands sort of clenching this looks like a gun to me, a longish gun with sort of cylindrical shapes around it. And on the barrel, it has like a diamond shape, a white diamond with a red dot in it. Now, I thought, well, how can a Neanderthal man, you know, be carrying some sort of weapon like that? They usually carry clubs. So I was really puzzling over this all night. And the whole programme was about where these ancient structures came from in Karnak in France. I'll put it down now so I can talk to you. And the questions were being asked by the experts. Who built these rocks? What were they there for? And what were they used for? And in their opinion, they thought that it was something to do like with a GPS system for the aliens, you know, to get their bearings. In my opinion, having spoken to my family about it, one of my family thinks, like myself, that it could be that the Neanderthal man was using this weapon, pointing it at the rock, which could sort of turn into something else when he's pointing it at it, and he could use it to transport himself to some other place, maybe somewhere in England or Wales, or you know, within Great Britain anyway. And he's actually standing on a plinth. It's a white rectangular thing. You can quite clearly see it on the picture. I'll show it you once more. So if you just have a look beneath his feet, it's a bit of a strange shape as well, but beneath his feet you could see he's clearly standing on something, and it's just so weird. That's my impression, that I think he was using it to transport himself to somewhere else. And that's what the experts were actually asking themselves about these rocks. So, I mean, it is quite amazing. It could be true, but it would be very interesting to have your opinions on this, if you'd like to give me them. And maybe some of the programme makers might be interested in putting forth their views. I have indeed written to the History Channel. I wrote to them 2 days later, about the 3rd of July, but I haven't received any response from them. And I did ask them in my letter whether it could be like a duplication on their film, that something hadn't been erased, but I just think it's too coincidental for that to happen. So I'd be very interested in hearing what anybody else has to say. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me the time, and hope to hear from one or two of you with some views in the future. Thank you. Good night.